Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 5, Lesson 40, the last lesson of the unit, and a big one. We've built the principal parts, walked through the 6 tenses, added the progressive and emphatic forms, and learned to keep our tenses consistent. Today we finish the verb with one final question. Not when the action happened, but who is doing it and who is getting it. That question has a name. It's called voice. Every action verb carries something called voice. Voice tells you whether the subject of the sentence is doing the action or having the action done to it. Watch these 2 sentences. The chef prepared the meal. There, the subject is the chef, and the chef is the one doing the work. She performs the action. Now listen to the second one. The meal was prepared by the chef. Same kitchen, same chef, same dinner. But now the subject is the meal, and the meal isn't doing anything at all. It's just sitting there, receiving the action. Same event, 2 ways to aim the sentence. Let's take the active voice first, because it is the one you already use all day long. A verb is in the active voice when the subject performs the action. The pitcher threw a curveball. Who threw? The pitcher. The subject is the doer. Marisol repaired the old radio. Who repaired? Marisol. Again, the subject is the one acting. Notice the shape of both sentences. The doer comes first, then the verb, then whatever receives the action. That order is why the active voice feels short and vigorous. It marches straight ahead, and nobody has to wonder who is responsible. Now flip it. A verb is in the passive voice when the subject receives the action instead of performing it. And the passive has a fixed recipe, one you already know the ingredients for. A form of the verb be plus the past participle. Remember the past participle from our principal parts? Thrown, repaired, broken, written. Put them together. The curveball was thrown by the pitcher. There's was, a form of be, and thrown, the past participle. The old radio was repaired by Marisol. Was plus repaired. In both sentences, the subject just sits there and takes it. And notice where the real doer went. The performer, if we name it at all, gets pushed to the back of the sentence inside a little by phrase. Here is the swap itself, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. Start active. The chef prepared the meal. The chef is the subject, prepared is the verb, and the meal is the direct object, the thing receiving the action. In other words, the doer acts on the receiver. So the doer sits in front and the receiver sits behind. Now let's turn it around. The direct object of the active sentence marches up and becomes the subject of the passive one. The meal takes the front seat. The verb changes to was prepared, a form of be plus the past participle. And the old subject, the chef, gets tucked into a by phrase at the very end. The receiver is now in front, and the doer has been pushed to the back. 2 sentences, 1 event, and the 2 nouns have simply traded places. Now here is a limit worth knowing, and it saves you from a lot of nonsense. Only a transitive verb, a verb that takes a direct object, can be turned into the passive. Look at the first sentence. The gardener planted the roses. Planted has a direct object, the roses, so there is a receiver available to promote. The roses were planted by the gardener. It works perfectly. But look at the second. The gardener smiled. Smiled takes no direct object at all. Nothing receives that smile. So there is no noun to move to the front, and no passive version can be built. Try it and you get gibberish. If the verb has nothing to hand off, the sentence simply stays active. So which voice should you actually use? As a rule, prefer the active voice. It is more direct, more vigorous, and it never lets a writer hide. But the passive is not a mistake. It is a tool, and there are good reasons to reach for it. First, use the passive when you do not know who performed the action. Second, use it when the performer simply does not matter. The streets are swept every morning, and nobody cares which worker held the broom. Or when you are deliberately holding the doer back. Here is the classic case. The window was broken last night. Who broke it? Nobody knows, and the passive lets you say exactly that without inventing a culprit. And there is one last reason. Use the passive when the receiver deserves the spotlight, when the thing acted upon is the real news of the sentence. Let's practice the trip in the other direction, from passive back to active, in 3 quick moves. Move 1. Find the by phrase, because that is where the doer is hiding. Move 2. Take that doer and make it the subject, right up front where it belongs. Move 3. Drop the be form, keep the plain verb, and let the old subject slide back to become the direct object. Watch it happen. The bridge was designed by a young engineer. There is our by phrase, a young engineer. Move that engineer to the front, drop the word was, and we get a young engineer designed the bridge. Shorter, clearer, and it puts the credit exactly where it belongs. Time to practice. In this first set, I'll read you a sentence, and you decide whether the action verb is in the active voice or the passive voice. Ask yourself the one question that matters. Is the subject doing the action or getting it? Pause and choose before I reveal each answer. The committee approved the new budget. Look at the subject, the committee. Is it doing the approving or is it being approved? It is doing it. The subject performs the action, and there is no form of be in sight. So this verb is in the active voice. The trophy was polished by the captain. Now the subject is the trophy, and a trophy cannot polish anything. It is receiving the action. You can see the recipe too. Was, a form of be, plus polished, the past participle. And there is the captain, tucked into a by phrase at the end. This one is in the passive voice. The lighthouse has been repainted. Careful here, there is no by phrase, so it is tempting to call it active. But look at the verb, has been, a form of be, plus repainted, the past participle. And a lighthouse certainly cannot repaint itself. The subject is receiving the action, and the performer has simply been left out. This is the passive voice. In this second set, we'll put the swap to work. You'll convert a sentence from one voice to the other, and in one case, you'll decide whether a swap is even possible. Pause and think each one through before I answer. Make this one active. The song was written by Elena. Find the by phrase, by Elena. Elena is the doer, so she moves to the front and becomes the subject. Drop the word was and let the song fall back into the object slot. The answer is, Elena wrote the song. Now make this one passive. The storm flooded the basement. The direct object is the basement, so the basement moves up and becomes the subject. Add a form of be, was, and the past participle, flooded. Then send the storm to the back in a by phrase. The answer is, the basement was flooded by the storm. And notice, the second choice is broken because it left out the word was. The audience laughed loudly. Can we make this one passive? Hunt for the direct object. What did the audience laugh? Nothing. Laughed takes no object at all, and loudly is just an adverb. With no receiver to promote to the front, there is nothing to build a passive on. So this sentence cannot be made passive. Let's gather it all up. In the active voice, the subject performs the action. The chef prepared the meal. And that is the voice to reach for first, because it is direct and strong. In the passive voice, the subject receives the action, and the verb is built from a form of be plus the past participle. The meal was prepared by the chef. Only transitive verbs, the ones with a direct object, can make that trip. And when you use the passive, use it on purpose. When the doer is unknown, unimportant, or held back, or when the receiver is the real news. And with that, Unit 5 is complete. You've mastered the principal parts, the 6 tenses, the progressive and emphatic forms, tense consistency, and now voice. That's the whole verb. Take a moment to be proud of that, and I'll see you in Unit 6.